Welcome back, everyone. This is Traycon here, the gaming statistician, and I want to talk to you about the first 5 challenge today. It seems to be a pretty awesome event. There are tons of rewards with it. I want to do one of the dungeons to kind of show you how to move through it. Hopefully, get 3 stars on it. But I do want to talk about the event just a little bit first and the quests and how I think you should approach it. So it has 3 different dungeons. One of them is quite easy, the second one is reasonably hard, and the third one is very, very difficult. I haven't actually beat the third one yet. But as you beat these dungeons, you get rewards. So let's go up here. We can see, so for the easiest dungeon, if we look at this quest, Echoes of Chaos, complete Echo of the Past 15 times. So this is the easiest dungeon. I have 12 out of those 15, and I'll get 5 more Rogar Stone Crusher tokens after I do this. And the token payouts are pretty high for how many times you do this. And then the other one, the second hardest one, right here, Lethal Shadows. So complete Forgotten Shadows 3 times. So I do this 2 more times and I'll get more Will-O-Swift tokens and a lot of tokens for her as we move on. And then the last one here, Masterful Mimics. And the first time you beat one of these dungeons, it's a really nice reward. As you can see, you get a Celestial Evo, 3 Pygneus, 5 Yasmin, and a Shadow Blade token, which is quite a few tokens for just being in dungeon once. But I haven't beaten that last one yet. It's very challenging. But another nice thing is these heroes, or I guess they're, these heroes will pop up as villains within these dungeons. Sir William, Theron Fiddlestorm, Nitpick. There are a bunch of others too. I know Echo's on here somewhere. I've seen him a few times. Bovis. So as you see these guys, you can defeat them in the dungeon and then get tokens for them. So you can get tokens for beating the guys within the dungeon and then tokens for beating the dungeons. So my tip is make sure that you don't quick loot these dungeons. If you quick loot the dungeons, then you will be able to get the dungeon rewards for beating the dungeon, but you won't get any rewards for actually doing the dungeon in terms of beating the heroes and things. So I suggest always attacking these. Now, I'll probably do most of my attacks on, just to go back real quick, I'll do most of my attacks on Echo of the Past just because it's the easiest, so I can do that quickly and move through it without any issues. I think the strategy to use here is really, from those 5 heroes, is go with the kind of slow, but potentially, can really take a beating. So Willow is for a lot of the damage. Yasmin is to keep your group alive. And then you have Stonefist and Rogar who will work well to take some damage. Stonefist you can use to actually taunt and then use Yasmin to bring him back up when you start getting low. So you take a lot of damage in this dungeon, and you want to make sure that your team can absorb that damage, and then through absorbing it still be able to actually deal out a little bit of damage as well. But you're kind of in this for the long haul. So we got a couple water guys here, so you want to use Willow on them first, just because she'll do a bunch of damage to the water, so that goes well. Then Yasmin we'll take out, see if we can. Yasmin is good for doing damage as well as actually healing everyone. Then we get Stonefist has this nice ability when you have a big group. So Fist of Justice, it'll do damage to one of the guys. And then actually lower the attack and defense of the others. So you take less damage and you can also do more damage to them. So unfortunately, my Rogar got frozen there. And then also, I recommend saving your hero, so hero until the end. And hopefully, if you're like me, you're able to have a few really high-level heroes. This doesn't work if you're level 60, they're just going to be your level. But I'll use one of these high-level heroes at the end, depending on which boss we get. So I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward through some of these rooms. One of the rooms was reasonably difficult, so I did decide to use my friend's hero and not save it for the final boss. But you can see now that when we get to the final boss, it's pretty important to recognize that Bovis Eldoro is a separate quest from just beating the dungeon. And that's why I recommend that you do not just quick loot these things, because you can get double rewards every time pretty much, where you're going to beat one of the heroes that shows up, in this case Bovis Eldoro. You're going to get that quest and those rewards, and then you're also going to get rewards for beating the dungeon. So this is the second most difficult one. There's a reasonable number of champions here that you're going to see, guys with the skulls above their heads. These they tend to do a lot of damage, and they also dodge really, really well. So I do not like seeing them. I got lucky where you can see there Willow took him out pretty easily. And then we're starting to use just slowly whittling down Bovis here. He has a ton of health though, so even I'll get some big shots here, and that's 800 damage, but you can barely see a sliver move away. And that's why I think it's really useful to have Yasmin in the group over, say, Shadowblade, because these fights can potentially take a really long time, and you're just going to get whittled down. But if you can go ahead and use Yasmin, then that's great. And then every once in a while, just want to pump up the crowd and let everyone know that the new event is really, really good, but we'll keep it the language here YouTube friendly. So you can go ahead and fill in those blanks yourself. But I think it's always good to, when there's a good event and things, let people know about it, both on the YouTube channel and in chat. So to kind of spread the word about the game, because I think the game is slowly growing, and if we as a community continue to spread the word, then it will continue to grow. So Bovis is now getting worn down pretty well. I've got Taunt on Stonefist to keep Yasmin and both Willow safe, because they both, even though they're reasonably well starred and ascended, they're both fully ascended, they can still take a lot of damage. So a few more hits, big hit from Willow. This is 1800 damage. Just about anybody else, you would see them fall to the ground after that, but this Bovis boss, it only takes away a sliver of health. And now we'll just take a couple more hits, see if Willow gets to end it off, and yep, with a crit, take out Bovis, and we beat the dungeon, which is pretty sweet. So the rewards are really nice. You can see I got some stamina there. Sometimes you get a lot of just tokens. I've gotten 3x tokens before for like Sir William at the end. And in general, I think it's just a really, really good event. It's fun to do the dungeons, and I encourage all of you to do them as well. And you can see here now I can claim both the Bovis tokens and the tokens for completing that dungeon.